You simply wouldn't believe the trouble I've had getting my pectorals up to par. I've blasted them so hard the last 5 years that my workouts would make the bombing of Berlin look like a string of firecrackers going off. I cried and screamed for my pecs to grow even just a little. The hard work is finally being rewarded, and my stubborn pecs are finally responding. At the Mr. America contest last year, I actually called out for the best chest, something that's never happened in the past. Still, I didn't win, and I won't be satisfied till my chest reaches superstar proportions. A recent turning point for me was the discovery that heavier isn't necessarily better. While heavy weights are 95% of the battle, that all-important last 5% is the force of muscular contraction as the weight is moved. That contraction must be total if you're to get a good growth rate. Without a maximum contraction, a movement is greatly devalued as a muscle builder. Now I'm careful to use the heaviest possible weight without sacrificing a deep contraction. A deep contraction takes great mental concentration and continuous strict form. All of these factors increase training intensity. I make the actual contraction an exercise in itself. I use the Weider isotension principle and just squeeze until my pecs burn and scream for relief. Injury levels are greatly reduced when you use continuous tension, which is slow and controlled workout technique. This keeps you from doing bouncing and jerking movements. Believe me, your joints, tendons, and ligaments will feel a heck of a lot better after a few weeks of such training. One function of the pectoral muscles is to pull each upper arm bone across the chest. A popular exercise that doesn't induce this efficiency is the bench press. The bench press is beneficial only to those who have naturally short arms and a barrel chest. If you weren't born with this type of structure, bench presses will do little for you. Unless you keep your elbows out and away from your body, no chest exercise will do anything for you. The elbows must be away from the body and jutting back slightly on an incline. Decline and flat bench presses, all angles of flies, and the cable crossover exercise. On the fly movement of the Nautilus, your elbows should be on the pad, driving one arm of the machine at a time into the rubber stopper. Let's get down to my workout, but first, everybody trains in different gyms, so you will have to use your intelligence and creativity in choosing proper exercises with the equipment actually available to you. When I'm training for pure muscle mass, I work my pecs twice a week on Mondays and Saturdays. Since my chest has been weak in the past, I use the Weider muscle priority principle, working my pecs first while my energy is still high. That way I can bomb my pecs with maximum weight and intensity. I also train pecs first because I feel that a good chest workout warms up my back. The back has 22 muscles attached to the scapula on each side, so the muscles are rather small and can be prone to injury if not thoroughly warmed up before heavy weights are used. I start my workout with heavy incline presses. After warming up properly, I use my heaviest weight for a maximum of 3 to 4 reps. I position my hands so that my index fingers are approximately 1 inch inside the center points of the knurling. This is a comfortable hand spacing for me when I use heavier weights, and it gives me maximum drive against the weight. After the heavy set, I drop down to the weight which will allow me to get into a full and contracted effort for higher reps. My hand spacing is shifted to the smooth part of the Olympic bar, with my little finger just touching the inner edge of the knurling on each side. This spacing forces my elbows out, making the pecs work exceedingly hard. Finally, I squeeze very hard for 4 to 5 seconds at the top of each rep. I have to occasionally remind myself not to sacrifice form for a few extra pounds on the bar. This is vitally important. It's also important to keep each exercise in my program down to 1 to 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. That's the best range for inducing maximum muscle growth. Flies on a pec deck are also excellent because they isolate the pectorals and eliminate the arms, which are a weak link from the movement. Be sure to keep your elbows and forearms on the pads at all times. It takes away from the contraction if you're pushing only with your hands, and when that happens, you lose part of your growth stimulation. You can superset the pec deck flies with incline presses. This involves the pre-exhaustion principle. Simply put, you superset an isolation exercise with a basic movement. This leaves your arms fresh for the incline presses, and since your pecs are already fatigued, you can then push them to the absolute maximum with the help of your arms. Cable crossovers are also very effective for developing the pecs, but unfortunately many gyms do not have the right cables. I like crossovers because of the wide variety of positions that can be used, each one hitting the pecs a little differently. Keep the elbows out and use your training instinct to introduce every possible training angle. Dumbbell flies are my final exercise, but this is very complicated movement, and it takes a real champion to utilize it well. The movement is similar to pec deck flies and cable crossovers, except that you must simultaneously balance the dumbbells, keep the elbows back, and push up with the chest. I lie back on the flat bench and arch up so I'm resting on just my traps and feet with my legs bent enough so my heels are directly under my butt. This position gives me greater isolation because I can't squirm or move around as I could if I kept my feet on the floor. Once I'm in position, I move the dumbbells down and up in an arc that brings my upper arm bones across my chest. At the top, my arms are pushed slightly back towards my head. Well, that's how I've broken through my chest barrier. Put all you've got into the chest training and be patient, for bodybuilding is a lifetime endeavor. Although you may not see any instant gains, hard work and dedication will pay off in the end. It did for me.